Uh, well, as said before, the majority of banks in Pakistan by and large are relationship bankers. And as Atif Sir said, lending is just a part of it. And I agree that very little has been done in equity side of it. But in retail banking, I think banks have come a long way. I mean, recent phenomena is, historically the banking used to be asset and liability, but the transactional banking is coming up in this part of the world. And things like you have payment delivery, payment solutions, e-banking, you've got the cash management. And I think in all these electronic bank, like from plastic to electronic to now the branchless banking. So I think these are all deepening relationships. These are all you're reaching to the tail end of the masses. So I think in retail banking, a lot has been done in this country in terms of technology, in terms of payment solutions, in terms of product delivery, and in terms of reaching that tail end, which was never touched before. And as for industry also, we are there for all solutions, but also the industry has to come up in some way in terms of efficiencies, in terms of cost management, in terms of disclosures. So I think it's a two-way thing.
Now, earlier we just heard from the other Muhammad Ali, and I'd like to address this to perhaps all of you, about the need that they're working on a new company law, new business-friendly laws. Have the banks been consulted about this, and will you be consulted, and how important is it that you're a very, very active player in terms of being a partner in a way, and maybe formulating these laws? Since your namesake, you're not going to be, you're more on the retail side, so you're fine, okay. But the concept of a new company law here that will make Pakistan a more business-friendly environment, how important is it that you're a player within, perhaps formulating that law, or at least giving your 2 cents worth?
No, absolutely. It's essential that banks be consulted. Banks have this role in the economy where financial resources are collected in the banking system and then are dispersed to wherever there is demand and need. So banks have a critical role in the economy, and therefore consultation with the banks for any company law is important. For any, as I said, the CRA, the company rehabilitation law is critical. There is a forum, the PBA, the Pakistan Bankers Association, that actually does that, provide input into these draft laws. Sometimes perhaps there is a feeling that the involvement and the engagement could be done earlier rather than later. So we'll work on that from that forum, but it is absolutely essential that it be done.
Okay. Irfan, in terms of being involved as a banker, is it essential? It's urgent, and
obviously
the concept of earlier and later, I think that's a good idea.
I think our involvement has always been there, like Atif said, through the PBA, through the Institute of Chartered Accountants, it's all there. But the dilemma, unfortunately, is that a lot of time you give the input, and sitting in the banks, which really to a lot of extent have got their pulse on the economy, maybe 10% of 20% of what we say is included in that, 80% is just disregarded. So it's not that it really is in our interest, which that's why we're saying, but it just probably doesn't get to the right people at the right time, and things are done just tandem to what the proposals are. For example, Muhammad Ali mentioned about that there is a need to reduce the tax rate for listed companies or the private limited companies.
How will that affect the banks? Will that be good? Will you welcome that?
Obviously that will be good, because we are at the highest rate of tax, and obviously banks, all alhamdulillah, into a documented economy, banks pay a huge amount of tax. But the problem is that you see what he was saying about partnership and private sole proprietorship paying lower tax. So there's no incentive for people to move towards documentation. And that has, I'm hearing this for the last 5 years in all budget proposals and all these things, but nothing is happening. And I fail to understand that, it's such a simple thing. Why don't people understand that? So maybe that's something which people need to take into consideration.
I want to have a look at how the shift in technology, and it's been just tremendous in the last probably 10 years, but definitely even in the last 5 years, probably even in the last year, the speed of that technology. How is that impacting you as a banker and as a provider of money, liquidity, and assistance and advice to the industry. Since I have your eye there, I'm going to put this one to you.
Okay. I think technology is going to revolutionize banking in the coming years. And fortunately, we have a regulator who is supporting the use of technology. And you must have all heard of branchless banking or mobile financial services that are coming forth. The regulator, State Bank, as well as PTA, are supporting that initiative very strongly. And that really is going to change the way we behave in terms of banking. Because at the end of the day, you will be able to transact almost everything from your mobile phone, whether it's banking or it's regular payments to merchants or transferring money to near and dear ones. You don't need to go to a branch anymore. The cost of that delivery of service is going to be significantly lower. What that will do is, to the earlier point of benefiting the economy in terms of documentation, is that convenience of this banking service through mobile financial services is going to attract a lot more of the unbanked to come into the banked sector and to make their payments, convert them from cash to the electronic channels. And as you know, we have probably one of the largest cash economies. About 30% of the money supply, 25 to 30% of our money supply is actually in cash. That's a huge drain on the economy because, as students of economics would know, that the banking sector multiplies economic activity. So any 1 rupee deposited in the banking sector actually has a multiplier effect on economic activity. For Pakistan, that multiplier is 3.4. So if we can convert some of that cash coming into the banks through this mobile financial services, you can actually see the multiplication effect on economic activity. So it's a huge impact that will be felt by the economy. It's a win-win-win. The economy and the government therefore wins. The customers and the businesses, individuals and the corporates, they also win because it's so convenient to do it. You don't need to necessarily carry cash and have the security arrangements and to count cash and all the arrangements that go around with that. It costs a lot of money. So you can reduce that. In an environment of security that we are in, you can see the advantage of that. So that's just an example of how technology and new products are going
sorry to interrupt you, but how does it impact, the CFOs? I mean, we can understand, I can very clearly see, and for you, I'm sure technology is driving on the retail side. But on the bigger picture, how is it impacting, the big deposits, moving the bigger amounts?
I'll tell you, from a CFO point of view, cash management will become so much easier. You take the example of just an industry, the milk industry, Nestle or Engro or whoever else. They have a need to make payments to small suppliers of milk, and they don't necessarily want to do that. They don't want to go out and give out cash to so many people. The banks, through mobile financial services, can step in and take over that role and say, we'll open mobile wallet accounts for the milk supplier, and you just give us one dump and you tell us the milk has been delivered, and we'll just send out the money. I mean, with the telcos obviously are a very critical component of this whole ecosystem that's being developed.